Hello, and welcome to the Feeling Good podcast, where you can learn powerful techniques to change the way you feel. I am your host, Dr. Rhonda Borowski, and joining me here in the Murrieta studio is Dr. David Burns. Dr. Burns is a pioneer in the development of cognitive behavioral therapy and the creator of the new team therapy. He is the author of Feeling Good, which has sold over 5 million copies in the United States and has been translated into over 30 languages. His latest book, Feeling Great, contains powerful new techniques that make rapid recovery possible for many people struggling with depression and anxiety. Dr. Burns is currently an emeritus adjunct professor of clinical psychiatry at Stanford University School of Medicine.
Hello, Rhonda.
Hello, David. And we're lucky enough to have Matt May with us again.
Hi, thank you, Rhonda. It's great to be back with you and David.
And welcome to all of our listeners, too. This is podcast 458, and today I'll let David say what we're going to do.
Yeah, today is going to be a very special podcast for multiple reasons, but I can only remember two of them. I'll mention those. The first, we're going to do live work, which is nearly always our most powerful teaching and connecting type of podcast because of the emotion and the realism involved. And secondly, we're going to be doing the live work with our beloved Rhonda, who recently was unexpectedly and shockingly diagnosed with a malignant lymphoma in her neck, in your neck, Rhonda. Mm-hmm. You being Rhonda, that's the same. I shouldn't be, it's horrible. I shouldn't be joking around. And found out some bad news and some the good news. The bad news is that generally these follicular lymphomas, while they have a 10 to 20 years life expectancy, they're felt to be uniformly fatal, which was horrible. But then we discovered that the one exception to that is when they're caught really early and are localized, which yours was.
Right.
Which was a cause of celebration within our tears. And the radiation treatments started a couple of 2-3 weeks ago, and you've been enduring that with pretty intense side effects, not horrific, but definite and real and disturbing, of extreme exhaustion after the treatments, a lot of anxiety during the treatments, being strapped down in a kind of a claustrophobic way where you can't move your head when you're in the machine, so they focus the radiation on the exact area, and nausea, and I think some vomiting, and nausea is one of the worst human experiences, and other side effects as well, and you've been carrying on as the podcast hostess, and so this is our chance to work with you again in a very meaningful and significant way. And I guess the third thing about it is that all of us, sooner or later, are going to be facing our mortality, the effects of aging. Not myself, but a lot of the rest of you will, and wondering, am I still going to be lovable, and am I getting inadequate and inferior now, and a lot of things like that I think have crossed your mind, and maybe cross all of our minds, even when we're little. Am I good enough to be loved, to be popular, and so forth? And so I think the themes here are going to be touching all of you today, and making a huge impact on how you feel about yourself and your loved ones, and Rhonda and Matt and David, all of us. And it just reminds me, Rhonda, that this is a little like one of our Sunday hikes, which is always the highlight of my week, because a few of us get together. I'm I'm kind of old now. I don't feel old. I feel like I'm 16, but physically I'm about to turn 83 in a couple of months, and I have low back pain, and I can't walk more than like a quarter mile without having to rest my back and take the pressure off. And yet we still get together and hang out. And you were on a recent Sunday hike, and it was so meaningful for all of us. But on the hikes, we talk about ourselves and our issues and the reality, our struggles, and it's really a great time of the week for me because of that, because we're just hanging out and being ourselves. And there's something about that that's really pretty awesome. And so I hope we can capture some of that magic today. So anyway, should we dive in, Rhonda?
Okay. What do you want me to do?
Well, I'll just go over quickly your brief mood survey so we can see how you're feeling at the start and end of today's session.
Okay.
And on the depression test, the way you're feeling just at the start here, a lot of sadness and some discouragement, but no loss of self-esteem, loss of motivation, or loss of pleasure and satisfaction in life. So you just have a 4, which would be minimal mood disturbance there. Some unhappiness and concerns, but not real severe, no suicidal thoughts or urges. And just a mild amount of anxiety, which was probably way higher back toward the start of this saga. But
right.
That's 7 out of 20, which was moderate anxiety and worrying and feeling nervous and a little tense or on edge, but nothing in the severe range. 2 of the anger questions are in the severe range, a lot of frustration and a lot of annoyance. But then 3 of them, resentful, angry, or irritated, or 0. So again, that's in the mild range, 6 out of 20. Much more significant is the happiness test. The latest version is a 5-item test. It goes from 0 to 20. And in this one, the 20 is the highest score, and your score was 8, which is not very high. And on the 5 items, the hopeful and optimistic was a lot, of course, because you're coming to the end of these treatments that you've had to endure. And I think this week you'll be meeting with the oncologist who's been out of town. And so you'll get the latest scoop on what the visualizations of your neck show and what the progress shows and so forth. And then you have that's a lot of hope. And then happy and joyful is only somewhat, and worthwhile and high self-esteem is moderately, but not in the a lot or not in the extreme range. And motivated and productive is not at all, and pleasure or satisfaction in life is moderate. So that's where the 8 comes from. And then the relationship satisfaction is 30 out of 30, which is perfect, and that's with your wonderful husband, Michael. And that might have been, at moments, slightly below 30.
Yeah, moments it was slightly below 30.
Yeah. But,
that was just this morning while he was asleep.
Yeah. And then we could start and do some empathy, or we could first read the daily mood log if you want to read it, or if Matt wanted to read it, so people get what are the negative thoughts and get a feel for what you've been struggling with, and then we could do our empathy.
Yeah, I'll just take my lead from you. Tell me what you want me to do, and I'll do that. I can go over the emotions in the sad cluster: sad, blue, depressed, down, unhappy. I checked sad.
Yeah, let's start with the upsetting event.
Oh, the upsetting event was,
waking up with sores in my mouth, which
unable to swallow and chew. That sting, they burn. Actually, it woke me up.
This was June 7th, shortly after you'd started the treatment.
Actually, no, it wasn't June 7th. I don't know why I put that date down. It was last Friday, June 27th.
Yeah, well, June 7 and 27 are very similar numbers. On Friday. Okay. Yeah, so you woke up with, if you've ever had a ulcer in your mouth or a severe sore throat, like I had for a while when I had COVID, I had the sore throat, and that can be awful. And you're lucky you woke up with it. At least you were asleep. Well, I
woke up at 4.
Yeah.
a.m. So
that's my get up time too. Our cat won't let us forget it. When 4 comes, she wants to be fed, and so she jumps on Melanie or on me until one of us wakes up.
Wow.
So, and then so you can continue now with the emotions. How were you feeling at that moment?
Well, I was 80% sad and unhappy. I probably should have put depressed too. And in the anxiety cluster, I checked anxious, worried, and frightened, and that was 95%. And guilty was 95%. That's tied to a specific thought. I added, I'm going to add defective. I was feeling
okay, sure.
Yeah.
And how defective were you feeling?
I was probably feeling 95% defective.
Mm-hmm. Any lonely or alone or rejected, unwanted, abandoned?
I've gotten a lot of support. All of the staff and the medical people, the radiation technology technicians, and everybody I've encountered at Stanford have been just so lovely and helpful and sweet and kind and empathic. But that moment that they put the mask on and then they leave the room so that they don't get radiated, I do feel lonely.
Yeah, okay. And
just briefly.
How lonely is 0 to 100?
I'll say 35%.
Okay, 35. Okay.
It's brief.
And then we've got frustrated.
I added 45% self-conscious. Because of what we're doing. I haven't told my clients what I'm going through. So if any of my clients are listening, I'm feeling a little self-conscious about that.
So which feeling is this one?
So in the embarrassed cluster.
The embarrassed.
Yeah, self-conscious. And I put
self-conscious. And that's 45, did you say?
Yes.
Okay, sure. 45. And then any discouraged or hopeless or?
No, I feel pretty hopeful.
Okay. And then frustrated is 75. It's a lot of frustration and angry and
upset. Angry and upset was 85.
Yeah, 85. And then shock
was 95.
95.
The frustration comes because, like I said, everyone has been so super sweet. And my nephew is an internist in another state. So he's been checking in with me and asking me, and I told him I had these sores, and he said, why don't you ask for some morphine mouthwash that'll numb your mouth? So I talked to the doctor and said, oh, my nephew, he's an internist. He's not a cancer specialist, but he suggested I get this morphine mouthwash. And the doctor's like, oh, no, that's really heavy. We don't do that. No, we don't know. And he said, we can do lidocaine mouthwash. And I said, okay. And then he starts asking me all these questions. Do you want it today? Do you want it tomorrow? Do you want it this? Do you want it that? And I was like, do I want it today? Why would I wait? Should I wait? Why is he asking me that question? Does he want me to do something else? Maybe that wasn't a good thing to ask. Like maybe now because I said morphine, he thinks I'm a drug seeker. And so I was just like, I don't know. Should I ask for today? Should I start it today? I'm in pain today. And then he said, okay, I'll prescribe it today. And then When I called the pharmacy later, and he hadn't sent the prescription. And so I thought we agreed today. And after I thought about it, I thought, why would he ask me to wait? Why should I wait? I don't know if I should wait. So I'm glad he said today he took the decision. But then he didn't fulfill the prescription. He didn't submit it. And that was frustrating. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So
that's frustrating when you're in pain and are obviously wanting to get out of pain right away and are told that the medication would be ready for you. You were probably looking forward to some relief.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't ready for you.
Right.
Yeah. And extra hoops for you to jump through just to get that relief.
Yeah. Then I have to call the nurse and call the pharmacy and do all that. And
probably even the calling and talking is painful.
It is a little painful, yeah.
How much pain are you in right now in your mouth?
Oh, on a scale of 0 to 10, I'd say it's a 7.
7, wow. I'll add that to the brief mood survey.
Oh, okay.
Mouth pain.
I'm appreciating you even more now, Rhonda, knowing that you're in pain and still with us and sharing in such a vulnerable way what this experience has been like. David was mentioning, and I believe it's true, that I think this will be extremely meaningful for so many people who are going through similar experiences. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt, for saying that. I'm on the verge of crying. I'm sure there's going to be some crying.
You're feeling a little tearful.
Yeah.
The other thing I was appreciating about you, Rhonda, is just your preparedness, getting all of this together and ready for us. The daily mood log, the brief mood survey. And when you shared with me that this was your diagnosis and what you were going to be going through, you did it in such a lovely way.
Oh.
And I felt really included, and you were kind of upbeat about it and asking to receive positive vibes, which I was happy to send lots of. So thank you for sharing your experience with us in such a sweet way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on this on any means, but I have read that there's research that if people around you think positive thoughts about you or pray for you, whether you even know about it or not, it does help. So I had to have a biopsy before they could fully diagnose it. So I asked everyone I knew to think of me on that day, on that moment, and listen to a song that was particularly meaning to me, and dance and send videos of themselves dancing or not. But most people sent videos or comments. And so I felt like I was part of a big community of people who are healing me. And I appreciate Matt and David that you and Melanie listened to. It was Uncle John's band, a song by the Grateful Dead, and danced on my behalf right before my biopsy. I asked my doctor if she would do it too. And
well, I'm not a very good dancer, and I probably danced in imagination, but I hope it didn't foul anything up.
Well, very well. So you didn't foul anything up.
I'm dancing right now in imagination, jumping down, saying, hooray, tomorrow's the last day of all of these treatments.
Well, should I tell you?
One thing we've been thinking about is although the side effects are miserable, to be thankful for them, right?
To be thankful for the side effects because they're giving me the appropriate treatment.
Yeah, that means the treatment's working.
Right.
And
you're not on the placebo arm of the experiment.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not. Yeah. I wondered about that too. Little tiny bit.
Yeah, you'd be worried if there'd be no effects at all, I think.
Yeah.
From the radiation. Well, let's look at your negative thoughts. Would that be okay?
Sure.
Do you want to read them, or would you like me to?
I'm not really good at making decisions right now. So why don't I just take your lead?
Well, let's take turns, the three of us.
Okay.
You can start with number one.
Okay. So I believe this 100%, although I feel guilty believing it, but I shouldn't have cancer because I live a basically healthy lifestyle. I eat well, I don't drink much alcohol, and I exercise regularly.
Yeah, and that, I can imagine that causes some of the frustration and anger.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think you might recall, or maybe you weren't there when Matt and I worked with Marilyn when she had her cancer diagnosis, and one of her thoughts also was along similar lines. I shouldn't have lung cancer because I've never smoked, and I didn't even think I was sick. I didn't even know that there was anything going on, and the cancer was triggered anger, a lot of other powerful emotions, just as you've experienced, Rhonda. And you believe that thought 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could read the second thought, if you'd like.
Yeah.
Rhonda, you were thinking to yourself, I don't have any right to complain about my symptoms or treatment because lots of people have it a lot worse than me. And you were thinking of your friend, Jack. And I think you mentioned that he got diagnosed later, that they didn't realize that he had it until it had already spread.
Right. I mean, I was really lucky. Cancer, sometimes it masks itself. So it might look like a rash, and then you get treated for a rash, or it might look like a cold or a virus, and you get treated for that, which is what happened to my friend Jack. And by the time he got treated, I think it was stage 3 or 4. So I'm only having 12 radiation treatments. He had 35.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I think, and I haven't had any, my neighbor had breast cancer, and she had a mastectomy, and I haven't had any organs removed.
So when you think that thought, you feel guilty, like I don't have any right to feel upset or complain about this because other people are less fortunate than I am.
Yes.
Got it.
That was 100% also.
Yes, that's 100%.
And by the way, what's it like to be sharing these thoughts on the podcast, these private thoughts?
It's a little hard. Mm-hmm. It's a little embarrassing. Yeah.
And what's the thought that causes the embarrassment? I'll add embarrassment up as an emotion. What's the embarrassment thought? I'll add it as thought number 10.
Well, I should be stronger.
So what is it?
I should be stronger.
Oh, yeah. I should be stronger. Mm-hmm. And how believable is I should be stronger?
I think 85%.
85. And then you say it triggers embarrassment. Any other feelings? Like shame or...
maybe a little shame. Mm-hmm. Like my friend Jack, he's really a close friend of mine, but he doesn't live that close to me. He lives about an hour away. And I remember when he went through his treatment, I had no idea what he was going through. And I would offer to bring food, or I'd offer to take him to the doctor. And his wife would say, no, you're too far away and don't worry about it. And it's okay. And now I wish I had been more assertive and said, no, I'm going to take a day and take care of you, or done something. Because I see it's so valuable now that I see when people are bringing me food. My son organized a meal train.
When was that Jack had radiation treatments?
That was 4 years ago.
4 years ago. How's he doing now?
He's doing good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Was it also a lymphoma?
It was throat cancer.
Oh, throat. Oh, my goodness.
So he had the similar kind of radiation on him where he had a mask.
Wow.
And he was locked down on the table. And when I first told him that I had this diagnosis, he said, "Oh, you're going to get this mask and it's going to look like, you're going to look like Hannibal Lectar." And he started describing it in pretty scary terms. And I was like, "Stop, Jack, stop talking. I don't want to know about it. You're scaring me." And that was rough.
Yeah, see, that was terror that you were feeling there?
Yeah, that was terror.
Sure. Yeah. And then number 3, I'll never get back to my former self, my pre-cancer self, and that was 80%. And tell us how that thought made you feel.
Well, I have a lot of energy generally. I get a lot of stuff done, and I'm involved in a lot of things. And I don't have a lot of energy now, and I'm not getting a lot of things done. And
Are you a little tearful right now?
yeah. So I don't want this to be my baseline. And I don't want to.
And then what are you the most afraid of there?
Well, not being a different person, like not being myself.
Not having that energy and
not having
getting
energy.
stuff done and being involved in so much.
Yeah.
And that would be like your permanent baseline. Is that what you're worried about?
Yes. I don't want that to be my permanent baseline.
And then let's say I'm a different person, a little bit of a downward arrow here. Then what would, in other words, to see what's underneath that thought that's triggering the tears, and if that were true, if I became a different person and had a much lower energy, then what would happen? Why is that upsetting to me? What would that mean to me?
Well, that would. I don't know. I would be old. Okay. I'd be like 1 foot closer to death.
Yeah. Okay. I'd be old and one step closer to death, like David.
Well, you're the most productive person I know.
And then if I was old and one step closer to death, what does that mean to me? What am I afraid of there?
Well, one of my sons has 2 kids and is about to have a third. And my other son is in the process of getting married and planning a family, and I'd miss that.
Yeah. Okay. I know it means a lot to you to be with your grandchildren, and you've sacrificed tremendously for your grandchildren and to be with them. And tell us how that feels, what that means to you, and what the tears are just now.
Well, like Josh, who does our audio work, and I'm close to both of my sons, luckily. And he said the sweetest thing. He said that when I told him about the diagnosis, he moved up his plans to have children because he said he didn't want to have children if I wasn't around. And I should have told him I had lymphoma years ago. So he but that was just a joke. So
he said he'd have children sooner.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to have them without you around.
Yeah. But if my baseline is really low, then I won't be an active grandparent. I don't know what I would be. I'd be like just lethargic and tired all the time. And
oh, yeah. So that having energy and doing things to help out your sons and their wives and the grandchildren is kind of like an important part of your identity.
Yeah.
And then if let's say you lose that part of your identity, then what will happen? Then you're old and lacking in energy.
Well, I'd be pathetic. That would be pathetic. I would have a pathetic life.
And what would be pathetic about my life then?
I wouldn't be. Doing things like I like to bake. I wouldn't be able to have the energy to do things, and I am a martial artist. I'm still going to karate twice a week, but not during this process. So I wouldn't be able to do things that I like to do. Like I'd have to be lethargic. And
you're tremendously active and filled with life. You and Michael too. To spend time with friends and go on camping and to go on adventures, to hear some special event in Las Vegas or the Grateful Dead or, things of that nature.
You have a good memory. Right. Yeah. So maybe I wouldn't be able to do that stuff anymore. I just sit at home and knit. There's nothing the matter with that. But
okay, so let's go on to some more of these. And thanks for sharing that. And what I really appreciate about what you're doing is giving us windows to look into your experience in a really accurately and without any hiding or minimizing or covering up. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, me too. I liked that you went for going a little deeper there with the downward arrow, David. I was wondering if there might even be one additional thought beneath that last one, like if Rhonda, if you had some kind of pathetic life and didn't have the energy to do things and bake and do martial arts and visit with your sons and your grandkids, are you saying that what would happen to you then, or what would you be most upset about then? What would that mean to you?
Well, life wouldn't be worth living.
Life wouldn't be worth living, and I'd be like miserable and unhappy?
Yeah, right, yes. I'd be miserable and unhappy.
Okay.
So the one of the key beliefs, and probably shared by most people, is that I have to have certain things go in my life in order to feel happy and fulfilled. And that if my capacities get diminished, then I can't enjoy it. Like David maybe can't enjoy the hikes so much because he can only go a quarter mile or a tenth of a mile at a time and then has to rest. And the hikes, if we make it 2.5 miles, that's a big deal on a Sunday, instead of we used to do 5, sometimes 10 miles or more.
And they were hard miles too. They were challenging.
Yeah, we were up there on the trails with beautiful lookouts, and now we're on some kind of street or other most of the time. We do some trails through the woods, but so is that the kind of thing that that you need to be going full steam to really have a profound love of life and appreciation and joy and fulfillment?
Well,
I mean, does it seem that way?
yes.
Okay. And then how much do you believe that then life wouldn't be worth living between 0 and 100 if I lost all these capacities to be active, to be fully involved with life, the way I am now or the way I was up to this event? How believable does it feel to you?
It feels pretty like 90% believable.
90%, sure. Good. Okay. Thanks for that, Matt. That was an important add-on, and is one of the main themes here. I think it's back to your turn. I think.
Oh, okay.
Number 4.
So because of the sores in my mouth, I have to rinse my mouth off with this solution of water and baking soda and salt, and it really tastes yucky. And I have to gargle with it, and I have to do that 1,000,000 times a day.
9 times a day?
Yeah. Well, I said 1,000,000.
Oh, 1,000,000.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. But you're supposed to do it many times a day.
Yeah. Feels like 1,000,000. And I don't know if this is a negative thought. But this is what I wrote. I don't want to wash my mouth out with water that has baking soda and salt in it. I don't want to have to do that.
Is it because it stings?
Yeah. Yes. It stings. It tastes bad. It's hard to gargle because it hurts. So sometimes it's gross, and I can't keep all of the liquid in my mouth, and it's just gross.
Rhonda, is it
sounds awful?
Rhonda, the way that thought is written right now, I think it's a true statement.
Yeah.
That you don't want that. Is it? Could we also add on something like, and I shouldn't have to?
Yeah.
Do it 1,000,000 times a day or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I'm next. So that was a frustrating thought. The next thought is I'm starting to look like an old woman.
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you sometimes had that thought, Matt?
Yeah, I was just feeling a little self-conscious about it.
Well, it's
And that was the 95.
Yeah. Yeah, it's taxing, and I'm starting to get wrinkles and get puffy. I thought you had more, like I didn't realize, and my nephew, my internist nephew, I said, I thought you only got nauseous after chemo, not after radiation. And he was like, yeah, I didn't know people got nauseous and puffy after radiation. So I feel like, oh, that's unfair. I shouldn't be nauseous, because other people who had, well, I asked my friend Jack if he was nauseous, but he couldn't tell because he had chemo too, so he couldn't separate out. So
is that thought on our list, that it's unfair that I got this side effect no one else got?
No, I can add that.
Yeah.
It's number 11.
Right, even for such a small dose, like the doctor originally said, oh, you're having a small dose and it's only 12 days, so you probably won't have many side effects. I was like, oh, goody, okay. But that really hasn't been true for me.
So you feel angry?
Well, irritated. It doesn't feel like I don't have the right to be angry, because it's healing.
Can we put that down? I don't, number 12. Okay. I don't have the right to feel angry.
Okay.
how believable are those two right now? 11, it's unfair I got nausea and side effects that others didn't get. How believable does that seem when you're thinking about it?
50.
50. And then I don't have the right to feel angry.
100.
100, okay. And then I think number 6, I'm enjoying my relationship. Can we move on to number 6?
Sure, yeah.
With my sister. But after I get over the cancer, she will start ignoring me again. And that was 100%. Tell us about how that makes you feel.
Well, I have a sister who lives in another state, and we don't, we have kind of a pattern that's not, where I do most of the work in the relationship. I reach out to her, and I'm more supportive of her. It's kind of been that way all our lives. And so since I got diagnosed, she's been like reaching out to me and sending me poems, and she sent me a couple of books, and just like sending poems that she wrote, like she trying, like uplifting kinds of cheerleading poems that are super sweet. And it's been nice to be on the receiving end of that. Like I think, oh, I have a sister. And I'm pretty sure that when I'm over this, that'll be over.
And then how do you feel about that? Do you feel resentful?
I just feel sad, like really sad about that.
Yeah.
How about alone or lonely or rejected or abandoned?
Well, I feel abandoned. I don't feel alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I have really deep friendships with my girlfriends. So I have a lot of like chosen sisters. So I don't feel alone. But I this is anticipatory too. Imagining that I'm going to feel abandoned. Mm-hmm. And then we'll go back to our old patterns of me reaching out and me taking care of her. And that just is sad.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really appreciating her efforts right now and are imagining that that'll all dry up and go away.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. How abandoned are you feeling?
Well, right now I'm not feeling abandoned. In anticipation of this happening, I would feel, if what I'm projecting is true and that does happen, I would feel 100% abandoned by my sister.
100%, yeah. You said you didn't feel angry about that?
Well, again, I don't feel like I have the right to be. If I get angry at my sister, she comes on full force, so much more angry than me. Like she's a tornado. So anger is really dangerous around her.
I sometimes feel angry with people who abandon me.
Yeah, I will feel angry, but that would be just between us. I wouldn't share that with her
on a podcast. Yeah,
right.
And it also sounds like she's to blame for the problems in the relationship.
Huh. It does sound like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's another podcast.
Another negative thought, number 13.
Is that my sister's to blame for the problems in our relationship? But that is truth. That's not a negative thought.
Oh, it's a positive thought?
No, that's a true statement.
Because I feel joy when I think that, and laughter comes to my heart.
No, I'm laughing because I'm making a joke that it's a true thought.
Yeah. Okay. She's to blame, and then how much do you believe that when you're thinking about it and feeling abandoned and so forth?
98%.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's see who we're up to.
I would say 100%, but I know that's not accurate.
Yeah, there's just a little tiny sliver of enlightenment, but not like a whole window of sunshine beaming in.
Right.
Let's see. Now, are we up? Are you number 7 now? Is it your turn?
Yeah. Is it my turn?
Yeah, I think.
So I think it combines number 7 with number 9.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm losing my memory, my language skills, and my ability to focus, and I'm going to lose cognitive functioning. I am experiencing that I've lost some memory, and I am having trouble with concentration and focus. And when I mentioned it to the doctor, he said, well, you're also not getting good sleep and you're not eating very well. And so those things can be side effects of the lack of sleep and lack of nutrition. And over time, you'll go back to sleeping well and you'll be eating better. Because I've lost weight, which they're worried about. But it's really hard to eat when you can't chew and swallow. But years ago, I worked with this 12-year-old boy who had an inoperable brain tumor, and they gave him radiation, and the oncologist spoke with me and told me that radiation to your brain will cause loss of cognitive function. And I saw that happening with this boy I worked with. And I am not giving radiation to my brain. I asked the doctor. It's not going toward my brain in any way. So this is definitely a negative thought that I'm going to lose cognitive functioning, like that boy I worked with many years ago. But it is something it's a strong negative thought. And I'm going to lose all of that permanently. Like going back to, I'm not going to get back to my pre-cancer self.
So a lot of the theme of some, but definitely not all of your thoughts, is the fear of loss, that I'm losing things and it's beyond my control, and I'm going to a kind of a state of functioning that's going to be definitely associated with being abandoned by my sister and maybe by other people, and not being able to do the full activities that are such a critical part of my joy and happiness, my energy, my being fully involved in life, and that loss is a big thing. And I remember when I had my heart attack, maybe must have been about 3 years ago now. I'm not keeping good track of time. But I remember when they were talking about that I was in heart failure, and I remember thinking, oh my God, I probably have about 3 weeks to live or something like that. I didn't quite know what was going on, but I remember when I first heard that, a kind of a shock to the system.
Right.
And it sounds like you've had an awful lot of that continuously for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks since you first got the diagnosis.
Oh, yeah. Because at one point they said, well, we have to wait until we get this test, the PET scan, and it's going to be 2 weeks before we can schedule you. And we don't know what it is that you have. You could have some crazy, weird, rare, they didn't say crazy, weird, but this is that. You could have a rare cancer that we don't know how to treat, or you could have cancer in other parts of your body and it's metastasized to your neck, or you could just have lymphoma in your neck, which we hope that's what you have, but we don't know yet. And so for the next 2 weeks, it was really scary Because at any time I had a little ache and pain, I'd think, oh, it's a brain tumor. Oh, it's bladder cancer. Oh, I have a tumor in my spine. And I had to work really hard to stay focused and say, just wait.
You're enduring intense fear and danger for 2 weeks, as well as I think there was a lot of frustration at them not being able to rush things along at the rate that you would have liked, that like kind of waiting and having to fit into their schedules.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Rhonda, when your doctor reassured you that the radiation wasn't going to your brain and that it could be related to lack of sleep and nutrition, did that cheer you up? Did that help you feel better?
A tiny bit.
Tiny bit.
But that negative thought is pretty strong. And the doctor told me that was not my regular doctor. My doctor was on vacation. So this was somebody that was just stepping in while my doctor was on vacation. And he said, well, gee, I don't even know if it's going to your brain. You need to ask your doctor when he comes back. And I thought, but I don't think it is. And so I'm seeing my doctor tomorrow. No, I mean today.
Oh, so today? I thought it was Thursday.
Is today Tuesday? Today.
Oh, you're saying
on Tuesdays I see
his vacation today.
Dr. Hoppy, who's managing the treatment, is still on vacation till Thursday. But he gave the treatment plan to another doctor that's been following me while he's been on vacation.
Oh, okay.
And she knows me and has been following me around. She's been managing this and looking at the scans daily and making sure the technicians are doing whatever they're supposed to be doing. And it's her who I've been communicating with. And she is also on vacation. So it's this third doctor, like 3 levels down, who really doesn't know me and didn't look at my scans and didn't look at my chart. And he was like, I don't know, are they putting radiation into your brain? And I said, I don't know why they would. I think that's just my own negative thought. And he was like, oh, I don't think he understood what I was talking about. When I said,
again, a lot of fears and needing and wanting a good bit more medical support. And hopefully, I think you're saying today you might get some of those answers.
Yes.
And I think that what Matt was referring to was maybe the doctor was trying to cheer you up rather than to empathize with your anxiety, intense anxiety and fears. And
right. And he didn't do a very good job.
Yeah.
No.
And
just some anger. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think a lot of people know how to give empathy. You said that at one of your first intensives that I went to, actually, and I thought, what do you mean people don't know how to give empathy? But it is really true.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know how to give empathy.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember looking at the feedbacks on there's going to be a depression and anxiety conference coming up in September, a second annual one with the Erickson Foundation in Scottsdale. And last year I presented on empathy, computer empathy versus human empathy. I was really proud of my presentation. It had a lot of original research with really strong and I thought interesting findings. And I remember in the evaluation, the evaluations were, I guess, pretty good, but one fellow was angry, and I get a lot of this angry feedback from people. Like, oh, Dr. Burns is always telling us we don't know how to empathize and we have to measure it, and he's full of shit, and things like that. People don't want to hear these messages often.
And they don't want to go to where we're at when we're scared and we think we're losing our memory, our cognitive functioning, and we have cancer in other parts of our body or our bladder. We're worried and scared about that. They don't want to just acknowledge that that's how we're feeling. And
well, why
ask
is
us
that? Why do people not want to acknowledge our anger and our anxiety and our fears and or shame. And
I think it's hard for people to face their own negative or their own challenging feelings. And if they're empathizing with us, it's scary for them. So it makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah. You think that's why?
I think that's part of it.
No,
And they want us to be happy.
Yeah, I see this. Well, we'll have this discussion on another day. But I feel this compulsive codependency. I'm going to help everybody, and my job is to help and cheer people up. And I just think that's one of the most common dysfunctional beliefs, certainly among mental health professionals. I don't know if most medical doctors have that same issue or not, but certainly most shrinks do.
Mm-hmm.
It's irritating.
Mm-hmm. It can really be irritating.
And then, so you did number 7, and so now 8 is I shouldn't be so tired, and that's 100%, and that's similar to I should be stronger, and I shouldn't be so angry.
Well, it's going back to the doctor said, it's only 12 days, and you're getting a low dose, so you won't be experiencing side effects, and so I expected not to have side effects. Yeah. And there are times I'm so tired I could fall asleep standing up, or that coming home from, I can't drive myself to the radiation treatments because I'm afraid I'll fall asleep at the wheel on the way home. I could get myself there, but I couldn't get myself back. And there have been times when even the walk from the car to my bedroom, I've struggled getting there because I'm so tired. Mm-hmm. Not every day, but the second week, definitely this week.
And then I'll just read through the rest of the thoughts real quickly here. The rest of them are ones we added today, like number 10 is I should be stronger, 85%. 11, it's unfair, I got nausea, and other side effects that apparently many or most other people didn't get, and that was a 50% belief in the accuracy of that one. And then number 12, I don't have the right to feel angry. And
right.
Let's see, we have one more. And my sister is to blame, the lack of closeness prior to my getting cancer and the predicted lack of closeness once the cancer has been successfully treated, and that was 98%. And so you've had just a lot of negative thoughts. And how many of those have you had to keep to yourself?
I've kept all of them to myself, except I don't have the right to complain about my symptoms because of Jack, because Michael knows Jack too. So I've said, my throat hurts, or I have these sores on my mouth, but I don't have any right to complain because Jack had 35 radiation treatments and he must have really suffered compared to what I'm going through. So Michael knows that one, but I haven't shared anything with anyone else.
Oh, you haven't shared much with Michael?
No, because that need to help, Michael has that really strong. And if I say any of these, then he'll start cheerleading me and I'll get really irritated. And I have less patience. I have less patience, and we're getting along 100% now because, David, you always quote the Buddha, and the Buddha said, before you say something, ask yourself, is the statement necessary? Is it true? And is it kind? And so I've been asking myself that before I say anything to Michael, and it usually comes out no. I'm not sharing because I don't want him to cheerlead me. It doesn't feel good. It's irritating. So I just keep it to myself.
So that's an additional dimension of loneliness and kind of maybe also some anger, which you don't feel.
Which I don't have the right to. I don't feel like I have the right to feel. Like he's trying to be a nice person, and I shouldn't be angry at him for trying to be a nice person. But I have screamed at him, "You need to learn the 5 secrets better.
Yeah.
Stop trying to be so nice to me. Stop cheerleading me." Which is such a dumb thing to yell at somebody about.
That's one of the newer techniques in team, actually, and I've been using it with patients. I'm going to start using it on you in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Oh, well, we shouldn't be laughing, but it is kind of a relief.
Yeah.
To laugh sometimes. Let me ask you. We've just been empathizing, and let me just make a brief summary here, and then Matt can, and then I'll ask you how we're doing so far in empathy. But I'm just really sad that you've been going through all of this, Rhonda, and I'm proud of you for how much you've been braving it and keeping up with the podcasts. But it sounds like you just have all kinds of negative feelings, and most of them pretty intense, 80, 95%, 95 guilt and shame and defectiveness and depressed and sad and unhappy and a lot of anger and feeling upset and shock, like 75, 85, 95, and then mouth pain, which is so debilitating and makes it difficult to eat, to swallow, and having to put all that mouthwash in your mouth all day long, and just makes it sting more and hurt more. And gargling is horrible, and you've also had nausea, which you weren't supposed to get. And then your negative thoughts are around the theme is, I've lived a healthy lifestyle, I've done my karate, I eat healthy, I don't drink heavily, and maybe that was the mistake.
Yeah. Look what I missed out on.
and then you have a lot of physical symptoms and emotional symptoms. You then get into a lonely zone because you tell yourself, I don't have the right to feel the way I do. I don't have a right to complain. And then you have a lot of fears of loss. That I'll never get back to my former energetic self. And when the cancer is cured and gone, my sister will again vanish from my life unless I put the energy into the relationship. But what if I don't have my energy? And what if I look like an old woman with wrinkles? And that like. I'll be some different kind of person, and all of those fears are associated with hopelessness toward the future, and thinking maybe I'll never get back to the joyous, loving, and loved Rhonda, and then you beat up on yourself for feeling that way and telling yourself that you should be stronger. And that you don't have the right to be angry, and then your relationships have been affected. And although the relation with your sister has improved a lot, you're still underneath feeling angry, like she's to blame, and this is just temporary and not something that's going to last. And felt some understandable anger to Michael, who's understandably trying to help. But as we've said 10,000 times on this program, and now I'm complaining about the fact that no one ever listens, we keep telling people, stop it. Stop trying to help people and learn to listen and acknowledge feelings and be with people. Still, people don't get it. We're trying to teach simple, basic things that, for whatever reason, people can't get. They can't get the idea that our thoughts create our feelings.
Right.
They can't get the idea that people want to be listened to. They don't want to be helped or talked at or given advice, and many other things. And so that's my kind of overview, and I'm just I really care about you, and I'm just sad that you're having to go through this. But I've been really, really proud of you, and I'm just grateful you gave Matt and David a chance, and all of our listeners to share this inner part with you. And now that I've said all that, I want you to cheer up.
When you sent the email and said, and when we talked about doing this podcast, I thought, I don't have any negative thoughts. I'm just like jamming through this. And I don't think I have anything to work on. And it wasn't until I filled out this daily mood log that I thought, I guess I do have thoughts to work on and feelings. Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this. And how would you rate Matt and David on empathy so far with our 3 rating dimensions with the letter grade? To what extent do we understand how you're thinking? To what extent do we understand how you're feeling inside? And to what extent have we created an atmosphere of warmth or acceptance or trust?
I would give you an A++ on all of them. You totally understand how I'm thinking and feeling, and you've created an incredible atmosphere of warmth, even through this internet. So, which is kind of an artificial process, but it feels like the looks on your faces, and people don't know, but we all had to get up to do this at 7:30 in the morning, and you're both really busy and you have lots of things to do, and I really appreciate that you're taking the time out with me. This has been another episode of the Feeling Good podcast. For more information, visit Dr. Burns' website at feelinggood.com, where you will find the show notes under the podcast page. You will also find archives of previous episodes and many resources for therapists and non-therapists. We welcome your comments and questions. If you want to support the show, please share the podcast with people who might benefit from it. You could also go to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating. I am your host, Rhonda Borowski, the director of the Feeling Great Therapy Center. We hope you enjoyed this episode. I invite you to join us next time for another episode of the Feeling Good podcast.